everyone, UK Goosebumps here again, and today we got the Don't Scream review. Yeah, so let's just get straight into it. So, our main character is Jack, and the book starts up with him on the bus, where he's getting beat up by these bullies. So they stop beating him up, and I've forgotten the bullies' names, it's like Matt, and I've forgotten the other ones' names, but they're really nasty guys. So he's getting beat up, he sits back down, and he realises there's this phone on the bus seat where he's on. So he picks up this phone, and suddenly a girl's voice starts talking into it, saying that it wants to be his best friend, and he thinks it's a prank at first, but then it keeps on saying it, and he gets a bit creeped out because of this. He's never had a cell phone before, so he doesn't realise about calls and everything. He's never really had one. Anyway, so he's pretty creeped out about this, so he tries to leave it in the bus. But someone actually hands it back to him as he's leaving the bus. So he's stuck with his iPhone, or phone, or whatever it is, with this girl talking to him, saying she wants to be his best friend and everything, and it's a bit weird. So he gets home, and he tries to turn the phone off to stop this girl from talking to him, but the phone actually electrocutes him then, really bad electric shocks. This really scares him, and she starts saying that she can hurt him if she doesn't do what she says and stuff. So he rings his friend Eli, who's really good with tech, and Eli comes over and decides to try and take the phone apart, because there could be a second SIM card in there, which is controlling the voice of someone calling in it. But this plan doesn't work because they're scared of getting electrocuted again because the girl is so violent on the phone. So they decide to just smash it with a hammer, which I thought was quite funny. They just smash it with a hammer a bunch of times. So that seems to solve the problem until the girl's voice starts coming from the game player that Eli has just bought. So the girl's voice starts coming from this game player, and she ends up actually burning this game player. So it's all melted and deformed with Eli's hands still on it, so they're really red, and it's quite brutal. Anyway, so they go down, his dad comes upstairs and was like, what's happened to Eli's game player? So like, oh yeah, it was obviously faulty or something, it exploded, his game player, because they don't really want to tell him the truth, because they know that the girl on the phone can hurt them. They go downstairs to eat dinner, and all of a sudden this massive ringing noise in their ear starts playing high-pitched, and it's actually Emmy by the way, they named this girl Emmy in the end on the phone, because she doesn't actually have a name, and it's her doing that noise because they're trying to tell their dad about the girl on the phone. So she threatens them with this noise that the whole family hear, but they just think it's because the gameplay is broken. So after dinner, Jack's dad offers him to take him and Eli to the the mall, to get a new game player for Eli. So he takes it they go to the store, and his dad goes off to take the game player to the manager. So while he's taking it there, all the lights go out in the mall, and across all the TV screens in the mall are these bright red lips and teeth, like in the cover, as you can see. It's pretty scary, it's pretty in detail. So he's in the mall, and all these start showing up saying, you're my best friend, Jack. So all the lights turn back on, and these come off the screen, and it was obviously Emmy that did this. And when Jack tells his dad about it, saying, oh yeah, did you see these? He's like, no, I was upstairs getting the new game player for Eli. So he gets the new game player for Eli, and Jack told him, oh yeah, did you not see what happened? But he obviously didn't. So Jack's dad actually says, oh yeah, while we're here, we may as well get you a new phone. So at this point, they think Emmy's obviously gone because Eli has a new game player. So Jack's dad gets him a new phone because he's never had one before. And then as soon as he turns his phone on and tries to call someone, he realizes that the voice on the phone is actually Emmy saying that she needs to be his friend and everything. Anyway, she also says that he needs to find others like her, so like digital people who aren't actually real people, who are stuck in the phones or whatever. So next day at school, and she tells him that he needs to steal a laptop. So he refuses at first, but then she humiliates him in class by electrocuting him and telling him if he doesn't spin on his head and stand on his head, then she'll keep on electrocuting him. And she does this throughout the book. She, basically is telling him to do something or she'll hurt him or his family. So he obviously gets humiliated in class, and again the next day he actually ends up stealing the laptop but gets caught, and the teacher actually takes the laptop off him. So that was a fail, and Emmy starts getting angry because he's failing. So she asks him again to try and find another digital friend, and this time the digital friend is actually in one of the bullies, who's called Matt, and it's in his camera. So he's got this new camera, so he actually steals this camera from Matt, and it goes successful this time. So they head back home, and Emmy says there's one more thing that they need to do. There's one more thing that they need to do before she can leave him alone and just go away. So she says that the last digital friend that she can detect is in their neighbour's house in an alarm clock. So he has to break into his neighbour's house, which he does, and unplug this alarm clock. But their neighbours actually come home and end up finding him. So his parents are really annoyed for breaking in, and his mum again gets a call from Matt's mum saying how because the bullies took the camera off Jack afterwards because they found it. I forgot to mention that. And that the camera isn't actually his, it's Matt's. So he gets an even bigger telling off. There's just confusing bits in like that where like it's not really important and you just kind of forget it. But it does play a part later, kind of. Anyway, so yeah, Emmy's really annoyed at this point, and she's saying, I can hurt your family and whatever. So it ends up that he wants to get rid of her, so he starts freaking out and smashing all his electronic devices, his iPod, his phone, his computer. He starts smashing anything so she can't convert herself into these other devices. So his babysitter then comes up and says, are you alright? And then the chapter ends and it skips to a week later where he actually has his child psychologist because his parents think he has problems and that he needs help. So he hasn't heard of Emmy in a week at this point because he thinks she's gone because he smashed all his stuff. And then he gets on the bus to go to school later on, and he hears Emmy's voice. He's not sure where it comes from at first, but then he looks at his wrist, and he actually has a digital watch that his granddad gave him. So, and Emmy has actually converted herself into this digital watch. So he doesn't know what to do, but then he thinks fast, and he realises that Matt, the bully, is actually moving to a new state. So he decides to give the watch to Matt in exchange for him not to bully him on that bus journey. So he doesn't end up bullying, he gets the watch, and Matt goes, and this is literally Matt's last day, so he goes off and takes the watch with him and Emmy. So presumably he starts a new story somewhere else. Anyway, so then Jack's really happy. He's really happy that Emmy's no longer there because he knows that she can't convert herself anymore because she's already in a device. And so he's really happy. So he gets phone and his new phone starts ringing. And he picks it up and he goes, hello, and this boy's voice starts talking, going, you better be my friend, I can hurt you loads, and the story ends. Okay, so my opinion on this book. I didn't really enjoy it. It seemed like a really long book, and it just seemed like it just went on for way too long. It's not even a long book, it's like 120 or 130 pages. But it just seemed so long and just boring. I didn't really pay attention to the whole thing. If you see me looking up, I hear sometimes because I have to write a bunch of notes for this book that I've strapped to my window because I just forgot so much stuff that happened in this book because I was so bored by it. It's not even because it's a bad story. It's just I couldn't pay attention. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem like a Goosebumps book. I think maybe because it was included phones, and most of the Goosebumps books I read have been in the original series, which haven't included modern day things. I'm not sure if it was because of that. I just couldn't pay attention. So if I did forget a few things in this review or had to, with the camera and everything, had to go back and tell you, it's because I just didn't pay much attention and had to write a bunch of notes because I just forgot. Yeah, but it was really boring for me, this book. The best thing about this book for me is the cover. I mean, it's really in detail for me. I mean, just look at that. I really like the cover for this, but honestly, that's the only thing I really like about it. It was like, it's not even mid for me, it's less than mid, so I would rate it probably like a 2 or 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, it's not great, but you get some good ones, you get some bad ones, it's fine. I'd rate it a little lower than Night of the Giant Everything, and yeah, so that's my opinion on this one. Next review is going to be The Birthday Party of No Return. I'm also going to be doing reviews on Live on Stage and stuff, but they'll come a little bit later. Sorry I haven't uploaded this week. I've obviously been back in school and everything, and it's been a bit busy. But yeah, next review will be Birthday Party of No Return, which I'm not looking forward to, because I really dislike that book. But yeah, and there'll also be a link in the description to my Twitter post that I posted of my collection and everything, which R.L. Stein actually commented on, which was really cool. Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this review, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye.